I'm EJ Swift. I've written a short story called A Handful of Rubies for Strata. This is a digital book about the future, made for the future. So my story is about food. It is about the different relationships that people in society have to food, ranging from very basic survival to food as artistry, as aesthetics, as social status, social mobility. My story hinges on one character called Vardimon. He's a celebrity chef at the very end of his life, and he has an amazing opportunity to access a new technology which will allow him essentially to upload his consciousness into a new body. Vardimon gets to live again. However, he is utterly terrified of the prospect of waking up in his new body and finding that he no longer likes food. So the world of Strata is based on a society that has three very distinct layers. At the very top you have the wealthy of society. They live high up in a very rarefied atmosphere. They're an elite. My character Vardimon, the celebrity chef, he is part of that world. Then you have a sort of middle class layer, of which I have a character Tarek, who acts as a nurse to Vardimon, providing pre-transfer palliative care, as I describe it. And those people are desperate to get higher up in society, but there's very little opportunity for social mobility. Then the third section of society is the most deprived area, and that's people who are still living on the surface in a world that's essentially been abandoned by everyone else. Some people don't even believe there are still people on the surface, and they're living in very toxic, very desperate situations. When I started researching the story, I had the original essay by Paul McMahon, which was supplied to me as part of the Strata project. Paul's essay investigates not only what food might look like in the future, but how food is distributed on a global scale and whether everybody will have access to sufficient nutrition. I think that people will always have a need for stories. I think that narrative is an absolutely intrinsic part of how we learn about ourselves and who we are and where we came from and where we're going. I think what technology has done is give us a real diversity of platforms, and I think in the future, whilst there'll always be a place for the printed book, I think we'll have a much more of a wide range of different ways of consuming narrative.